敬请期待。上海生物医药产业聚焦创新领域，
中心希望和产业同仁们携手，架设全球创新资源共荣共生的桥梁，
凸显临床优势。
通过产业周的平台对接，更多临床资源得到激活利用，更好地守护人民生命健康，
发挥金融势能。
在生物医药产业这条赛道上，上海已经形成资本与产业高效互动的良好局面，持续引领和推动中国生物医药产业的高质量发展，
汇聚全球精英。
上海生物医药产业应着眼创新人才的发展，建设大发展的人才活力体系。
2023上海国际生物医药产业周，共济未来，生机盎然，敬请期待。上海生物医药产业聚焦创新领域，
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 中心希望和产业同仁们携手，架设全球创新资源共荣共生的桥梁，
凸显临床优势。
通过产业周的平台对接， 更多临床资源得到激活利用，更好地守护人民生命健康。
发挥金融势能，
在生物医药产业这条赛道上，上海已经形成资本与产业高效互动的良好局面，持续引领和推动中国生物医药产业的高质量发展，
汇聚全球精英。
上海生物医药产业应着眼创新人才的发展，建设大发展的人才活力体系。
2023上海国际生物医药产业周，共济未来，生机盎然，敬请期待。上海生物医药产业聚焦创新领域，
衷心希望和产业同仁们携手，架设全球创新资源共荣共生的桥梁，
凸显临床优势。
通过产业周的平台对接，更多临床资源得到激活利用，更好地守护人民生命健康。
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 发挥金融势能，
在生物医药产业这条赛道上，上海已经形成资本与产业高效互动的良好局面，持续引领和推动中国生物医药产业的高质量发展，
汇聚全球精英。
上海生物医药产业应着眼创新人才的发展，建设大发展的人才活力体系。
2023上海国际生物医药产业周，共济未来，生机盎然，敬请期待。上海生物医药产业聚焦创新领域，
中心希望和产业同仁们携手，架设全球创新资源共荣共生的桥梁，
凸显临床优势，
通过产业周的平台对接，更多临床资源得到激活利用，更好地守护人民生命健康，
发挥金融势能。
在生物医药产业这条赛道上，上海已经形成资本与产业高效互动的良好局面，持续引领和推动中国生物医药产业的高质量发展。
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 汇聚全球精英。
上海生物医药产业应着眼创新人才的发展，建设大发展的人才活力体系。
2023上海国际生物医药产业周，共济未来，生机盎然，敬请期待。上海生物医药产业聚焦创新领域，
衷心希望和产业同仁们携手，架设全球创新资源共荣共生的桥梁，
凸显临床优势，
通过产业周的平台对接，更多临床资源得到激活利用，更好地守护人民生命健康，
发挥金融势能。
在生物医药产业这条赛道上，上海已经形成资本与产业高效互动的良好局面，持续引领和推动中国生物医药产业的高质量发展，
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 汇聚全球精英。
上海生物医药产业应着眼创新人才的发展，建设大发展的人才活力体系。
2023上海国际生物医药产业周，共济未来，生机盎然，敬请期待。上海生物医药产业聚焦创新领域，
衷心希望和产业同仁们携手，架设全球创新资源共荣共生的桥梁，
凸显临床优势，
通过产业周的平台对接，更多临床资源得到激活利用，更好地守护人民生命健康，
发挥金融势能。
在生物医药产业这条赛道上， 上海已经形成资本与产业高效互动的良好局面，持续引领和推动中国生物医药产业的高质量发展。
汇聚全球精英，
上海生物医药产业应着眼创新人才的发展，建设大发展的人才活力体系。
2023上海国际生物医药产业周，共济未来，生机盎然，敬请期待。上海生物医药产业聚焦创新领域，
衷心希望和产业同仁们携手，架设全球创新资源共荣共生的桥梁，
凸显临床优势，
通过产业周的平台对接，更多临床资源得到激活利用，更好地守护人民生命健康，
发挥金融势能。
在生物医药产业这条赛道上，上海已经形成资本与产业高效互动的良好局面，持续引领和推动中国生物医药产业的高质量发展。
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 汇聚全球精英，
上海生物医药产业应着眼创新人才的发展，建设大发展的人才活力体系。
2023上海国际生物医药产业周，共济未来，生机盎然， 敬请期待。上海生物医药产业聚焦创新领域，
衷心希望和产业同仁们携手，架设全球创新资源共荣共生的桥梁，
凸显临床优势，
通过产业周的平台对接，更多临床资源得到激活利用，更好地守护人民生命健康，
发挥金融势能。
在生物医药产业这条赛道上，上海已经形成资本与产业高效互动的良好局面，持续引领和推动中国生物医药产业的高质量发展，
汇聚全球精英。
上海生物医药产业应着眼创新人才的发展，建设大发展的人才活力体系。
2023上海国际生物医药产业周，共济未来，生机盎然，敬请期待。上海生物医药产业聚焦创新领域，
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 衷心希望和产业同仁们携手，架设全球创新资源共荣共生的桥梁，
凸显临床优势，
通过产业周的平台对接， 更多临床资源得到激活利用，更好地守护人民生命健康。
发挥金融势能，
在生物医药产业这条赛道上，上海已经形成资本与产业高效互动的良好局面，持续引领和推动中国生物医药产业的高质量发展，
汇聚全球精英。
上海生物医药产业应着眼创新人才的发展，建设大发展的人才活力体系。
2023上海国际生物医药产业周，共济未来，生机盎然，敬请期待。上海生物医药产业聚焦创新领域，
衷心希望和产业同仁们携手，架设全球创新资源共荣共生的桥梁，
凸显临床优势。
通过产业周的平台对接，更多临床资源得到激活利用，更好地守护人民生命健康。
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 发挥金融势能，
在生物医药产业这条赛道上，上海已经形成资本与产业高效互动的良好局面， 持续引领和推动中国生物医药产业的高质量发展。
汇聚全球精英，
上海生物医药产业应着眼创新人才的发展，建设大发展的人才活力体系。
2023上海国际生物医药产业周，共济未来，生机盎然，敬请期待。上海生物医药产业聚焦创新领域，
衷心希望和产业同仁们携手，架设全球创新资源共荣共生的桥梁，
凸显临床优势，
通过产业周的平台对接，更多临床资源得到激活利用，更好地守护人民生命健康，
发挥金融势能。
在生物医药产业这条赛道上，上海已经形成资本与产业高效互动的良好局面，持续引领和推动中国生物医药产业的高质量发展。
汇聚全球精英，
上海生物医药产业应着眼创新人才的发展，建设大发展的人才活力体系。
2023上海国际生物医药产业周，共济未来，生机盎然，敬请期待。上海生物医药产业聚焦创新领域，
衷心希望和产业同仁们携手，架设全球创新资源共荣共生的桥梁，
凸显临床优势，
通过产业周的平台对接，更多临床资源得到激活利用，更好地守护人民生命健康，
发挥金融势能。
在生物
从最初的没有创新，到开始创新，到今天的这样一个创新成果出现，其实是整个生物医药发展的黄金30年。
我们经过30年的发展，建立成了一个具有自主创新能力的生物医药产业链。
数字化医疗呢，不仅能够促进新药的研发，也能够促进绿色低碳的经济。
这30年呢，上海生物医药在全国乃至在全球，在研发领域方面取得了很大的成绩。
Shanghai is home to China's largest biopharma industry cluster.
国药将借助上海世界级生物医药创新产业集群优势，合力推动全球生物医药产业蓬勃发展。
现在机器人的发展都有很好的布局，在上海，我觉得是一个非常好的一个基地。
上海生物医药产业应着眼创新人才的发展，建设大发展的人才活力体系。
上海是临床资源富集的区域，通过产业周的平台对接，将有助于更多一线的临床需求可以被产业捕捉，有更多创新的成果呢，也可以为临床熟知，更多临床资源得到激活利用，更好地守护人民生命健康。
在上海市各级政府、浦东新区各级职能部门以及张江园区的各级政府一贯性的产业政策支持下，上海一定会加速发展。
The Industry Week provides a high-end, market-based, distinctive and international platform that demonstrates innovative achievements and facilitates cooperations and exchange.
女士们、先生们，我们的主旨会议即将开始，请各位尽快有序入座，谢谢大家的配合。女士们、先生们，我们的主旨会议即将开始，请各位尽快有序入座，谢谢您的支持和配合。女士们、先生们，我们的主旨会议即将开始，烦请各位尽快入座，请各位尽快入座，谢谢您的支持配合。女士们、先生们，我们的主旨会议即将开始，请各位尽快有序入座，请各位尽快有序入座，谢谢大家的支持配合。尊敬的各位领导、各位来宾、女士们、先生们，大家下午好！欢迎各位来到2023上海国际生物医药产业周开幕活动的现场。我是上海广播电视台第一财经的主持人黄伟。当前生物医药正越来越成为全球科技竞争的焦点，唯有创新才是立于不败之地的关键。今年的生物医药产业周将会进一步聚焦全球科技创新资源，激发科技创新思想，对标国际
new innovative mindset.
在接下来的时间呢，我们将会进入今天的主旨会议。首先，我们要邀请到2022年及2001年诺贝尔化学奖得主卡尔·巴里·夏普利斯先生，给我们带来他对于生物医药产业的洞见。Ladies and gentlemen, now let's welcome Mr. Carl Barry Shapless,
chemistry and new drug development.
Deliver a speech. Mr. Shapless, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you for the invitation. It was very impromptu, I think, but it was lucky. I'm here on behalf of the World Laureate Association for a meeting we just finished today and, on click chemistry, which was actually something my wife named in the late 90s, and it actually won a Nobel Prize in 2022, so that's pretty short time for something to be noticed. So what is click chemistry, and how can I relate it to you as possible interest of discovering things like medicines and drugs and just better glues or better electrical systems. It's all about speed and quickness and high reliability of the reactions. I wanted to explain it by starting with, well, Pong, Wu and I, our colleagues at Scripps, and we decided to just take some natural products and put a few widgets on them quickly and see if they were worse or better. It's an easy strategy. You take a natural drug, natural product, and either three things happen. You have to have a screen. Screens are really everything in this business, in my opinion, and not screens to have something hanging on the end of a string, a functional screen. And so Pong and G, who was his student at the time, we made some high throughput click chemistry, and we took, what did we take? We took Combristatin, and the other one is, it's a steroid that's used for breast cancer, and it's a drug, Fluvastrant, and the last one is, well, those are the two that I want to talk about. And they both were drugs, and the one, what we did was, well, you know, man started doing chemistry, first of all, collecting, didn't know what chemicals were, right? But 2,500 years ago, my friend Jaja and Pong, they tell me that's when medicinal chemistry started to be registered here probably by drugs. And let's face it, the motivation we all have, however, whether it's money or whether it's love of someone who died and couldn't be saved, that most people in medicine are in principle idealistic. And can you imagine what it was like before man had drugstores and stuff? I mean, you try anything as a mother or father or a relative to see if you could make life better for the person who was suffering. So the instinct has been with humans for a long time. And the ability to do chemistry really was born in Germany, and that was some of the best chemistry ever done. It still is, and much better than some of the chemistry today, I'll tell you, in my opinion. So we're going backwards in time, but I guess, well, I had to improvise. I was just, I should have a seat safety belt, but I got these little clips. If you play with it, you know how you can take these little clips if you're not spastic. So I just, with a click reaction, what you do is you have that little hole there. That's the one partner, male, female, whatever, female, male, whatever you want it to be. And if I put that in there, and it just clicks, and that's forever. And that's what our reactions are like. We try to find the best reactions, and we were lucky. We found two new ones that didn't exist. In fact, the two that we found were both perfect reactions. 99.99999% yield over 1,000 steps in some cases in making polysulfates for electrical insulators. That's one thing we found. That's called suffix. And Jaja Dong, who is a big part of my reason for being in Shanghai, along with Quiling Ding. Now, we were at SIOC, but now we're at Jiao Tong University. We're here to try to make drugs translationally quickly by using Jaja's new breakthrough for making compounds. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that if you have a reaction where you don't have to pray, when we were students, my God, you never trusted a reaction in a new context. You couldn't expect it to work perfectly or even well, and so you just hoped. Well, that's not true anymore. There's several reactions where you can, there's no question about it. You're going to get 100% of what you want. And that helps at the end of the day, too, which I'm sure the gentleman from Roche can tell you. There's one thing to get yourself a good compound, and there's another thing to make it in industrially available quantities. And we can guarantee to do that within a month because all the reactions we use are 3 or 4 perfect reactions. So, and they go in a tiny scale in the 1,200 and whatever plates. The Echo made pico, what is it? Not micromolar. They're pretty diluted solutions, and that's how we make our libraries. We make them overnight, just with 6 ganked pipettes. I guess I'm going to run out of time, so if I tell it the way I imagined, I'm trying to figure out what's the important thing to tell you. Okay, well, what Pong and I did, we picked those 2 anti-cancer drugs, and the one is you have to inject it intramuscularly. That's fluostrant, and so what we did was take the little group on the compound. This would be like a steroid. You know, steroids are actually like that, and but down here in this corner there'll be a hydroxyl or a phenolic hydroxyl in the case of the estrogens, and so we just clicked in a fluorosulfate group. So we covered that group up and snapped it in, and the drug was much better, and it was available orally now. We tested it in China for $10,000 or so. You can get a lot of tests done, and showed that it was not toxic and that it was much more active. And the reason it was more active is because when you have a hydroxyl, pharma guys will know this, especially a phenol. Phenols aren't too friendly in nature. She wants them out of there. So 2 ways to get them out. She can phosphate them, sulfate them, or glucuronate them. And your drug starts disappearing quickly that way. So covering up the reactivity of the phenol and getting a better drug and more bioavailable, well, nobody would complain about that. Nobody's pursued it, but in terms of the product, but I'll forget the compensatin one, but it's another phenol story. It's an anti-cancer for tubulin, and it also is much better because of the phenols. They don't just get oxidized by P450s, and when you put a fluorosulfate on it instead of a normal phenol group, you don't kind of oxidize that ring anymore. That's a really electron deficient group. So everything about it, but people say fluorosulfate, I've never seen one of those in medicine, and they're very stable. You can reflux them in sulfuric acid for a week and nothing will happen to them. So now I want to move to tell you about chemistry we did in collaboration with Jaja's lab, and I was here too as adjunct professor at SIOC, and I've spent, I come to China for years now, about 5 times a year, and it was a tough time during COVID. It really hurt us all, but we still doomed, and the students here were making compounds like crazy, and they got really good at this big library. So we lined up with the Gates Foundation and with Scripps and Caliber. Scripps has a sort of a screening company inside of an institution. And we went after tuberculosis, which is, well, not last year, because last 2 years COVID had the most deaths. But tuberculosis is ahead of malaria as the #1 killer in the world. And it's not coming to Switzerland soon, but it comes to other countries. It's really scary, that beast. And so we went after tuberculosis, and we started with some known drugs for tuberculosis, but we quickly just went out there and did some screening of simple things, benzenoids, as fluorosulfates, and quickly we noticed a very good activity when you had a benzene ring with something out here. Over here, you had a fluorosulfate, and it was very active, and it was killing. It was actually covalent on an enzyme in the bacterium that's used for making that weird. It's aldolase that makes that weird lipid. So it was a necessary protein for, and took that along, and now, as I understand, the thing is pretty well ready to go, and it's the best, according to the Gates Foundation, it's the best compound they've seen for tuberculosis. And Jiajia probably made about 12,000 compounds to do that, to get it active, and but it's covalent too, and it just really chews up that enzyme, and so it's a kind of a model for something you can do with very little effort, and Jiajia optimized it for bioavailability and pharmacokinetics. I think just next targets would be like malaria, or of course cancer is huge, and anti-inflammatory drugs are needed desperately. So our sights are set on whoever our collaborators are and what they want to screen. We have some great collaborators over here right in Shanghai and nearby, and they're mostly cancer screens, and you know, cancer seems to be everywhere, right? Everybody's hoping to get a blockbuster that way. But I guess the main point is, when Jiajia did one of the screens in the tuberculosis series, we were having trouble with what was left on the right side. There's a parafluorosulfate here that nailed the active site. And then over here, we needed something that was better for bioavailability. And by the way, it's not easy to get into the macrophages, right? You have a lot of different headaches, and that drug is a sleeper too. It hides from you, and it's really hard to kill. But this one kills persisters. And what we found was that he did a whole lot of, say, 2,000 to 3,000 run libraries, and then we tested them, and the people at Scripps who tested them said that, hey, this one's really good, and it came out that they only had about 30 or 40 compounds, and there were 1,200. And Jiajia and I were on the Zoom call and said, these judges, where are the other compounds? And they said, oh, they weren't active, so we don't show them. But they were the ones, when you looked at this product that got the hit, there was a parahydroxy benzene over here. Well, every med chemist knows, oh, that's not good. Maybe you want to change that out. But the first thing you think if you're a med chemist is, okay, what happens if the hydroxys, meta or ortho? And they said, yeah, we don't know. And I said, well, Jiajia said, yes, you do. Those compounds are in the library. In other words, when you get up to 50,000 azides, you're not going to have anything left that can be modified that won't already be in the library. The SARs is over. Do you get what I mean here? It's pretty amazing to see it happen. Jiajia and I just love it. And he's collaborating now with so many great guys around, Min Lu, and so it's quick. And I know in Kung Fu, there's a movie about it that if you don't want to die, in Kung Fu, speed alone is what determines the winner. And you might say that's ugly. Speed means make something sloppy quick. No, I'm talking about speed's the best. And in Switzerland, it would be the same drug. That you'd make in a fire. Most of these reactions work on water. So in the jungle, you'd make you make it, or else in the kitchen in a poor part of the world, you need 1,000 or 2,000 white powders. We don't have life's ability to eat and recycle. Life couldn't stand for the chemistry. There's no room for reactions there's hardly any room for reactions that only go one way and give a very stable link that doesn't come apart. So anyway, I know I sound a little like I'm carried away here, but we're having tremendous luck, and I'm here now to see two of the new labs that are really wonderful that Professor Huiling Ding, who's the president of Jiao Tong University, has set up. And the other thing that's exciting is you can get tissue from all kinds of diseases, which in China you can do much easier than in the States. But here, there are 5 hospitals associated with this university. Maybe you don't know that, but that means resources, because it's not pretty, but you need tissue, human tissue, to figure out some of the things you need to know. So my excitement about Shanghai has been going on for almost 15 years now, and it all started with Professor Dai years ago invited me here, and ever since friends and the students I'm getting from China are unbelievably good. Jia is just one example, and he's you've got something that is maybe best for cars, for electric cars, because the what do you call it? It's not it's the part where the capacitor, they just burn up and they can't take the heat. Well, it's polysulfates that we make, they love to protect it from the heat, even though they're sitting up there in the air, separated from the electromagnetic spectrum, which is hurting the capacitor. God knows how that works, but that's physics at a distance. So I like to change fields every few years. It's time again to change, so maybe I'll start sliding over towards physics and electricity, things like that. Okay, thanks for your attention.
谢谢 Thank you very much, Mr. Shopless. Thank you for your brilliant sharing. 非常有意思的一个话题。
Thank you very much for your very interesting speech.
各位来宾、女士们、先生们。
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the biomedicine industry in Shanghai is accelerating its integration with the global biomedicine industry. It has actively participated in the global biomedicine industry and developed a cluster of biomedicine. So next we are going to have a super biopark to focus on the industrialization of the biomedicine industry. So next, I would like to invite Mr. Alex Gu, the Senior Vice President and President of Medtronic Greater China, Mr. Wu Xiaobing, President and COO of Beijing, Mr. Zhang Qiang, Chairman of Shanghai United Imaging, and Mr. Chen Qu, Fosun International. I would also like to invite Mr. Shen Bo, the Vice President of the Shanghai Pharmaceuticals Corporation, to be the moderator for this dialogue session. Dear guests, good afternoon. In the field of biomedicine, both soft power and hard power matters, and Shanghai is a very important hub to connect the domestic and international markets. In Shanghai, multinational corporations can make a very strong presence in China, and the local companies likewise can have a better understanding of the international market. Today, I'm very happy to be joined by a distinguished panel of 4 speakers to share their insights and views on the topic. My first question is that how can the biomedicine industry in Shanghai to capture the opportunities and embrace the opportunities in the industry? I know the speakers come from the different backgrounds. Some are from the domestic and some are from international companies. Some work in the pharmaceuticals and some work in the medical devices. Thank you, Mr. Chen. I'm very happy to be invited to this International Biopharma Industry Week Shanghai 2023. Medtronic joined the Chinese market in 1989, and from the very beginning, Shanghai used to be the headquarters of our China company. We have 2 R&D centers, 1 manufacturing base, and 1 world-class training center. Each year, we train about 6,000 to 7,000 senior clinicians. We also have a venture capital fund. So we are making investment across the entire length of the value chain. I think the big house industry actually has several features. First, it is a heavily regulated industry. Second, it requires high investment. And third, it takes a long time to get return on investment. That means we need to have a a predictable and innovation-friendly industrial system and policies. Over the past 30 years, the several Shanghai administrations have placed top priority to the biomedicine industry, and Shanghai's biomedicine industry has come a long way. Over the past 30+ years, together with the Shanghai government, we in industry are making our contributions to turn Shanghai into an international hub for the biomedicine. And second, we need a very sound ecosystem. Our venture capital fund wants to be part of this vibrant ecosystem. We want to help those leading companies, especially startup companies, to develop the world-class applications and help them go global. And the third important element is talent. Talent holds the key to the success. We need to have good policies, a vibrant ecosystem, and top talents. Just now I mentioned that our training center trains 6,000 to 7,000 people every year. Of course, we also want to help those startup companies and entrepreneurs with our R&D capabilities. We help them to run tests and help them with the registration process. These are the three elements that are critical to the biomedicine industry. Next, Mr. Wu from the Beijing. I think the internationalization of the biomedicine industry is a very relevant topic. I think China's biomedicine industry has entered a second phase of development. The first phase of development mainly focused on R&D, and especially after 2015, we have seen a boom of the innovative drugs, including Me Too. We have a lot of new concepts such as Me Too, best in class, first in class, and we are providing affordable medicines to people. So we have this very vibrant scene of new and innovative drugs. I think going forward, the key is to commercialize these products and make sure that people have access to these new and innovative drugs. And that gives rise to two questions. First, how can we develop the innovative drugs? And second, how can we internationally market these innovative drugs? As we always say in our company, the oncology or the cancers knows no national boundaries. And of course, we also want to support or help that the international or the patients in other countries as well in China to have access to these innovative drugs. Of course, we need to have a very sound innovation environment or ecosystem which will give a strong boost to the development of the domestic companies and international companies as well. Just now, Dr. Schwan shared with us several examples. I think these are very inspiring. One example that we can learn from is the competition, a competitive market in the United States. They help to invite the insurance companies and other market players to compete with each other. And the UK is another example. The US and the UK are stand at the two ends of the spectrum. Of course, there are also other good examples, and there are pros and cons of the different policies pursued by different countries. We can learn from these lessons. And besides learning the lessons and experiences of other countries, we need to take into account the national reality of China and develop our own fitting models. Now, Mr. Zhang from the United Imaging, we were founded in 2011 in Shanghai, so the company has a history of 12 years, and we benefited enormously from the Shanghai government's policy. We took advantage of the very sound and supporting environment in Shanghai, especially the policy, the very good policy environment, which is very encouraging. And second, I think we have a strong talent pool here in Shanghai, including some overseas returnees. And we also have those top research-focused institutions. We also have good collaborations with the universities in Shanghai. And thanks to the support of these stakeholders, we have improved our capabilities for original innovation. So we have introduced a number of innovative drugs. We are able to pool these resources for innovation and integrate it deeper into the upper and lower stream of the industry. In terms of the international expansion, from the very early days, we have already made some investment in overseas development. We set up R&D centers in other countries. We are also working with the clinical research organizations and universities and research institutions to develop a very extensive global network or global ecosystem. We hope that we can become a leading company with global influence. Mr. Chen from the Live International, like United Imaging, Live International is a Shanghai local company with a longer history. We entered the biomedicine sector in 1993 or 1994, so this year marks the 30th anniversary of our growth, and we have a lot of advantages in Shanghai.
We started with PCR testing. It was a really emergent technology, a very new technology. So only some leading universities and leading clinical hospitals or people who want to establish startup businesses will come on board. During that round of PCR development, we see people from Fudan University of Shanghai and the Zhongshan Hospital of Guangzhou. The next round involves the cellular gene therapies. It is still research institutions and universities in Shanghai that were in the leading place. The same is true for antibody drugs as well as the CAR-T therapies. Shanghai has always been a forerunner in terms of life science, clinical practice, and the biopharmaceutical industry, be it research or clinical practices. Shanghai has a very solid foundation, which determines that, relatively speaking, it's easier for emergent technologies to be developed in Shanghai with its clustering of technology factors and talents. Another point I would like to raise is Shanghai's access to global talent. A lot of overseas returnees will naturally choose the city of Shanghai if they want to go back to China from foreign countries. The brand of Zhangjiang has been very well developed after so many years. A speaker just now mentioned the Bay Area and the Boston Innovation Hub. Shanghai is very much like Boston. Boston has Harvard and MIT. We have Fudan and the Jiao Tong University in Shanghai. So it can attract a VC team, research team, and a clinical team. A lot of overseas returnees will choose Shanghai naturally as their first stop. And it also takes some time for them to transfer to other cities. Shanghai also has a global vision and international horizon. For your products to go global, or what we call the radius of your products? Is it just a province, a region, YRD, the Pearl River, Delta, or the whole China, or whole world? If you take a deep root in Shanghai, it's easier for you to be global market oriented. In innovation of biopharma, for example, we face increasing challenges as well as pressure in our pipeline and evaluation. The biotech startups or big players, it is not just about cost reduction to survive, but rather you have to open a new door. You have to learn from United Imaging as well as Beijing. You have to open a wider door and go to the global market. We need to adjust our pipeline to be in line with international standards. Such kind of mindset, such kind of vision, execution, talent, as well as institutional arrangements are all existent here in Shanghai. And Shanghai is the best capable of providing these support. For the past 3 decades, we have benefited from these strengths of Shanghai's biopharma industry. Of course, there are also some disadvantages and weak links in Shanghai. We are not afraid of these, but we have to make good use of the strengths here in Shanghai to deploy our businesses across the country and across the world. For example, if the cost here is too high, we can put part of our businesses to Chongqing or other places in China, or even to some neighboring countries like Vietnam and India. We will make up for the weak links. But it's lucky that Shanghai does have many more strong points and advantages unrivaled by any domestic or international peers. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Chen. I think from what you said and from our working experience, we can feel by ourselves the advantages for Shanghai to develop biopharma industries. It has a sound ecosystem, attracting a large number of research institutes, talent, medical institutions, as well as clinical experts. All these have laid a solid foundation and serve as driving force for biopharma development, be it drug or medical devices, be it Chinese company or overseas players. They all enjoy abundant opportunities in Shanghai. The next question, when we talk about innovation in China, we have to follow this pathway from serving the Chinese market to the global market. How are we going to use global resources to empower biopharma industry here in Shanghai? So would you please share your insights based on your working experience? Let's start with Mr. Gu again. In healthcare, it's a industry that is innovation-driven. Any advanced technologies, inventions in other sectors, maybe with some time lag, will be applied in the medical and healthcare industry. Of course, we have to be very careful in use these technologies. And in drug and medical devices, we are always seeking the best. No one is saying that we are the second to the optimal, because it is all about humanity and disciplines. In our industry, we always have to achieve the best, which means that we must also adopt the highest standards. Shanghai has got everything that can ensure a prosperity of our industry, the best talent, the best hospital, the best doctors, the most complicated surgeries and industrial clusters. In Qiantan area, we have got the headquarters of more than 20 MNCs in healthcare. And of course, we can consider to make improvements in the 2 aspects. First, we need to give incentives to the doctors and their capability innovation, especially in medical devices. 70% of the iteration innovations in medical devices come from the feedback of clinicians by taking into account their own thinkings, their own user experiences. Of course, the HCPs are very busy. The top-notch doctors working in the best hospitals would be able to allocate at least a part of their time to think about the iterations of medical devices products. Secondly, I hope that we can be participants and a witness of industrial development. Our resources, our manpower can take part in the city level and the national level R&D projects. We would be able to make our due contributions. Thank you. Beijing is a forerunner in adopting global strategy for innovative drugs. So can you talk about your takings on this issue as well as your challenges? Yes, I feel strongly about the Shanghai's advantage in talent. Shanghai is really a magnet of high caliber talent, and which cannot be rivaled by any other city in China. That is why the big molecular global R&D center of our company is right here in Shanghai, including antibody, ADC, mRNA, therapy, to name just a few. So Shanghai is really a gathering place of high caliber talent, providing us with strong momentum for development. The second point I would like to talk about is policy. For biopharmaceutical industry, as you know very well, is tightly regulated. National policies, industrial policies really play a decisive role in the development of this industry. Money does not come in the first place. It's the policy that comes in the first place. So I usually say that we need policies, we need supporting policies. It's much more important than funding support. But what I would like to outline here is that policy is really of the most significance for this industry. So in some aspects, I think that Shanghai can be a testing ground for pilot reforms. We can use the FTZ as well as Shanghai's leading position in legislation as well as institutional arrangement. We can introduce some advanced international experience and set a role model for other places in China. If Shanghai can achieve success, it's easier to scale up nationwide. It's just like the Shenzhen as a pilot for reform and opening up drive in the biomedicine industry. Shanghai can be the place for pilot reforms for policies. Another point I would like to mention is that I'm not sure if it is possible for the city of Shanghai to take a leading position in R&D. That is for sure. I hope that Shanghai can attract even more talent, the best talent across the world to do R&D here in Shanghai. Maybe Shanghai can provide some funding, working together with funds, for example, and we can have this bidding, tendering process at the national level in order to make breakthroughs in the most cutting-edge bio and life science technology arenas. So the global talent can participate in the bidding processes right here in Shanghai. Maybe in the next few years, Shanghai will be the birthplace of several Nobel laureates. That is not something that is impossible. If Shanghai can take the lead in this, then many scientists across the world, those from the Bay Area, those from Boston, and those from Basel of Switzerland, where Roche is headquartered, maybe the scientists from all these places will come to Shanghai to scale new heights in their scientific research. Mr. Zhang from United Imaging. You talked about innovation in China to the world. For the medical device sector or companies, it means that medical devices industry in China in the past was at the lower end of the value chain, and we have to climb up the value chain, and we have to make sure that the world can recognize the brand and the high-end technologies from China, and they have to think that the Chinese technologies are reliable and trustworthy. There are many challenges, especially in medical device industry. As a latecomer, we face fierce market competition, and from innovation to China to the world. We must first be the winner in the market to truly have a global influence. In face of such kind of challenges, what we can do or what we can rely on is exactly innovation. And it's not about me too, me better innovation. It must be original and unique innovation to meet clinical needs as well as to solve research problems. At United Imaging, at the very first beginning, we established in 2011 in Shanghai, and we set up R&D branch in the U.S. in 2013, and we built a very solid foundation in fundamental and core technologies R&D, so as to make breakthroughs and have our own capacity in core technologies. And at the same time, we also established certain strategies under which, first of all, we must grasp the fundamental technologies in our industry, and based on that, we will launch the first in the world, the first in the industry innovative products, and then we will break into high-end market in the US, Japan, and EU. We must tap into these markets first so that gradually we would be able to establish a Chinese brand. And we feel very strongly that we launched quite a lot of new products over the past decade, but many of these products, our competitors have similar ones, but of course our products are much better. But we cannot continue with this strategy. Now we have launched some products of originality or original innovations, or the Me First products. I paid a visit to quite a lot of hospitals, and I can feel that these hospitals are now more willing to cooperate and talk to United Imaging with the launch of these first-in-class innovations and the first-in-class products. So with homegrown innovation, when we talk to the best hospitals and universities in foreign countries, we are also in a better position in this partnership. After 10 or 20 years of efforts, we would be able to really do innovation not just for China, but also for the whole world. Thank you. Now, Mr. Chen from Fosun, please. From the perspective of the industry, making innovation is, of course, to make very influential products in the industry, and based on the birth of these influential products, we would be able to see the birth of great companies. In the healthcare industry, innovation is definitely a buzzword. However, when it comes to what are the specific drugs that we have developed, what this drug is really of high influence, great influence, and very impressive, and there is still no such kind of blockbuster products. Huawei is a household name now. Everybody knows about Huawei, especially with the launch of the Mate 60 cell phone. It sells at a price of 6,000. So it can, if it sells 10 million, then it's 60 million in the sales revenue. So that is the value of the products in concrete terms. At this point of time, when we make innovative drugs, and what are the goals of companies making innovative drugs, and why does the government support the biopharma industry's development? Last month, I attended a meeting during which I asked that at this point of time, when we look at the pharma companies in China, I think that Beijing's products have entered into the U.S. market with the sales revenue of about tens billions of RMB. And 10 years ago, that size was about 10 billion, was about 1 billion, and then even earlier, the size of these products is about 100 million. And now we have got two products that have reached a size of 200 billion in the whole world. So for innovative drugs in the world, I think the peak is about 200 billion RMB for every year. That is the peak value of one single product. But looking into the future, I think we should have the confidence that in the next 10 years, we would be able to make drugs worth about 100 billion. It's about 50 to 60 billion to 100 billion or even bigger. We would be able to produce products or medicines of that market size value. We can profile such kind of medicines. What are the factors? What are the tags, labels? What diseases should they target? And what are the lead time that these products can possess? These are the things that we have to consider when Shanghai develop biopharma industry in the next 5 to 10 years down the road. What are the companies that we are trying to cultivate as compared to those that are being developed in neighboring cities like Suzhou? Yesterday, I was in Shenzhen. Shenzhen also is focusing on the development of innovative drugs. But if we really want to be a global innovation hub, we have to be a far leader where how are we going to develop products worth 100 billion, for example. It is not just a slogan, but rather it's all about coming down to the fundamentals, coming down to our specific work. Deputy Commissioner Wang, Vice Mayor Chen are here. We need industrial policies at the national and the municipal level. And these policies should be bolder because such kind of product development involves even bigger challenges and higher risks, including, for example, new drug approval. Yesterday, Mr. Wu Xiaobing in yesterday's meeting in Shenzhen talked about Pfizer. Pfizer would like to come to China and get its talent, and it also wants to use the mechanisms and the speed of the COVID vaccine in order to get the next innovation. So maybe the support of NMPA and the Shanghai government, we have got the sub-centers for drugs and medical devices here in Shanghai. I think these centers should work harder to do something even more meaningful, and Shanghai has got every factor to do that. I think that the companies and the business people here in the city for the Fosun has worked together with the first CAR-T therapy product launched in China, and we also helped with NMPA in upgrading and setting the regulatory systems for the CAR-T therapies. We understand how other countries are dealing with this first-in-class innovative products. So in the past, we just follow other people in innovations. Now we have become a better follower, and we have even become leaders ourselves. We should be fully capable of making better innovative drugs. I would like to thank all the panelists. Yes, I think there do still exist many challenges for internationalization, for example, in commercialization, in policy, in talent, in product iteration, for example. But if we take a look at the history of the biopharma industry in China, a lot of changes have taken place indeed. As Mr. Chen just mentioned, we can consider products worth 100 billion and benchmark against the global market. But 5 and 10 years ago, we won't have the courage to say that. So we really have made great headway and has fostered a very strong foundation. I think biopharma innovation in China has started from scratch and now is really in the turning point of turning for the better. And we are now in a transition period. For example, we see the expansion of domestic companies in overseas market. And in this process, I think multinational corporations have also set up a strong presence here in the Chinese market. As a result, the city of Shanghai is more capable of building world-class industrial cluster. Science respects no national borders. The biopharma industry is global in nature. I think international cooperation is the main theme of this industry. I would like to ask every panelist to use one sentence to say something to express your wish for the biopharma industry development here in Shanghai. I am very glad that so many peers on the stage have strong believers in innovation as well as in Shanghai. The biopharma industry is all about innovation, and we must seek excellence. Innovation and excellence must be the two key words for the development of biopharma industry, and Shanghai should serve as a lighthouse and become one of the innovation hubs of biomedicine in the whole world. Shanghai should be the most dynamic pace setter of innovation in the world, and it should also be the most sacred place for scientific innovation. The internationalization of biopharma industry really needs us to have a global horizon and vision. We stand ready to work with our global partners and to make Shanghai a birthplace of original biopharma innovation in Shanghai, so that these innovations can be shared with the whole world. Thank you. For companies, every company wants to grow bigger and bigger, and every company wants to seek diversification. But no matter how we execute or pursue this, I hope that the companies would be truly committed or truly anchored their business development here in Shanghai and take a deep root in the city in their innovation and internationalization endeavors. I would like to thank all the four panelists for their wonderful and insightful discussion. We talked about the internationalization of innovation. Looking in the future, we will work together and to improve our capacity of innovation as well as international competitiveness to embrace the booming opportunities and promising prospects for the development of the biopharma industry. I would like to thank all the panelists for their wonderful sharing.
I would also like to thank Mr. Shen Bo for being the moderator for this panel's discussion, and for the five panelists to look ahead into the future of the biomedicine industry in Shanghai. Shanghai has been committed to create world-class biomedicine clusters, and Shanghai is working together with the players of the market to embrace an even brighter future. So as one of the players in the industry, how can the companies align themselves with the new development trends and achieve new heights? So next I would like to invite Dr. Xia Yu, the chairwoman of the ExoBio, to share her insights. Distinguished guests, Mr. Huang Guo, Vice Mayor Chen Jie, Dr. Shuang, and Professor Wu. Distinguished guests, good afternoon. I'm very privileged to be invited to the Shanghai International Biopharma Industry Week. I'm extremely happy to represent the new biotech companies to share with you some of my observations. My topic today is the journey from originality to commercialization. The originality is the source of vitality for the high-quality development of the biopharmaceutical industry, and a lot of speakers have shared their vision with us, but I will turn to a more macro perspective. I will talk about the journey of our company, or what should we do in the overall wave of the biopharma industry development. So I would like to focus on the capabilities for original innovation.
那么这里呢，我可能会要快一点过去，因为今天到目前为止呢，大家都在谈这个高地的打造。
The previous speakers have been talking a lot about how to develop a global hub for biomedicine industries. We all know that the biomedicine industry in China has enjoyed a very rapid development in the past 30 years. And the International Biopharma Industry Week, Shanghai, has been held for 2 versions, and this year we have the 3rd edition of this Biopharma Industry Week. I'm very happy to be invited by the Shanghai Municipal Commission of Industry and Information Technology to participate in this event. And the biomedicine is one of the 3 leading industries of Shanghai. This fully demonstrates the commitment that Shanghai placed on the biomedicine industry, and it well fits the profile of Shanghai as an international metropolis. We hope that Shanghai will continue to be a very important international hub to connect to the domestic and international markets. If we look at the elements for the success of the biomedicine industry, Shanghai has a very unique role, or Shanghai has a very good position. And so first, you should have the best policies. You need to have a global vision, and also you need to have the top talents. And the clustering of talents will help drive the high quality development. I talked to many city leaders when we decided to move to Shanghai, and I had the general impression that Shanghai indeed has attracted a critical mass of talents, and we have a lot of high caliber talents here in Shanghai, and the Shanghai government has made enormous efforts to attract the best and the brightest to Shanghai. And a critical mass of the talents will drive the high quality development of the research. And we also need to have a number of the supporting system to form a very vibrant ecosystem. And this will help to unleash the potentials of the market players. China's biomedicine industry has enjoyed a very rapid growth in the past several decades, and the system has become very active, and the ecosystem has been very vibrant. For example, the oncology drugs pipeline in China, as a share of the global pipeline, has increased from 5% 10 years ago to 23% so far. Despite the very fast growth, how can we make one step ahead and pursue even higher quality development? Actually, over the years, we have improved the capacity or capabilities for innovation, and later on we'll give you a brief overview of the efforts we have made in developing innovative drugs. And in the past several years, the innovation capabilities of China has improved, and the number and the amount of the licensing out deals has also increased substantially. Some leading companies have this capacity to go global, and a number of leading companies have emerged. The traditional pharma companies are in the process of transition to new bio companies, and the small biotech companies understand that they need to have the competence to develop the innovative drugs. All this shows that the China system is deeply integrated into the global ecosystem of biomedicine. So as a biotech company, how can we seek steady progress? As we all know, biomedicine industries has a long cycle. As a small biotech company, how can we seek steady progress and achieve long-term growth? So I would like to use our company as an example to walk you through on the journey travel that our company has traveled. So where did we start? I think the founding mission of our company is to provide innovative drugs. We know that innovation is very difficult to achieve. However, without innovation, you cannot survive in a competition. And Axel Bio was founded in Guangdong Zhongshan province in 2012. This slide shows the evolution of the company from 2012 to 2023. We have experienced several stages of development. So the first stage was from 2012 to 2015. We have a starting capital of 20 million RMB. So with this starting capital, we founded our company back in 2012. In the first stage, from 2012 and 2015, we did one right thing. We didn't take a shortcut. We didn't pursue the short-term goals. Instead, we focus on long-term growth. With this small amount of the starting capital, we invested in the developing platform to develop our products, and we focused on the cost saving. And this is the first stage. And the second stage was from 2015 to 2019. And during that period, the capital market was also booming, and people began to realize the potential of the biomedicine market and long-term growth prospects. During that period, we were committed to improving our innovation capabilities. During that period, we focused on developing new products, and luckily we came out with something really successful. We independently developed a CTLA-4 antibody, and we licensed CTLA-4 MAB to Merck. That was a very big deal with a total amount of $20 million. It was a big amount back then. And we have 4 rounds of capital raising, and the total money raised was 1.7 billion yuan. And we realized that we should take a gradual approach and adopt a very pragmatic approach to innovation. It is also in that period that we built a second international pharmaceutical site in Guangzhou. And we focused on some of the basic research work, and our efforts began to pay off from 2015. In 2020, we marketed the first drug. We are working with the Zhengda Tianqin. They are helping us to sell the product. It was approved for marketing in 2021. And another milestone was in 2020 when we were listed in the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. And during that period, we also did several things right. First, we were still very committed to developing the innovative drugs, and we are also making a lot of promotional efforts. Among a great number of listed companies in Hong Kong Stock Exchange in that year, we were among a few to have a second round of financing. And after we were listed in Hong Kong Stock Exchange, we had 2 rounds of capital raising. And thanks to the efforts, we had launched another bispecific antibody product. We have 2 milestones. In 2022, we marketed the first bispecific antibody product, and we also introduced, or we have a 5 billion upfront payment for an out-licensing deal with an American pharmaceutical company. So Dr. Shuang asked me whether the total value of the deal is $5 billion. My answer was no, that was just the upfront payment. When we had negotiations with our partners, the partners, and the other party, Dr. Bargan, our partner, was a very senior professional in the industry, and it had a lot of experience in the industry. Well, I think this example shows that the innovation of Chinese companies was not just limited to China. Actually, we had a global vision. We want to market our products in the global market, and we have this data. We also have this long-term vision for the future. We want to develop or build our presence in the international markets with very sustained commitment to innovation. We will be able to integrate ourselves into the global landscape of innovation. I think this calls for the efforts of each and every biotech company in China. Well, I just want to give you several examples to see how our company have worked on achieving steady progress. First is a product for the cervical cancer, and actually it filled in a void of the market, and this product for cervical cancer was approved for marketing in June 2022. I think we did 4 things right. First, when we identified this project, PD-1 and CTLA-4 have been marketed. Some people said that CTLA-4 was quite toxic. However, it was very useful. But our principle was not to just put these 2 antibodies together and mark or claim that they can have these 2 uses. Actually, we focused on its efficacy. We take a 3-step approach. First, we quickly marketed the product, and it was being marketed for the indication of the cervical cancer. It was marketed in June 2022. We have a very strong sales team, and in just 1 year, the total sales of this product reached 1.1 billion yuan, which is really quite outstanding. And the second, after the marketing, we focus on the very long life cycles of the products. As we all know, a lot of drug products have a long life cycles. And we know that 1 blockbuster drugs internationally was marketed in 2014, and they were still very popular in the world. And so for the second step, we have made investment in a lot of clinical developments for different therapeutic areas, including lung cancer, gastric cancer, liver cancer, and pancreatic cancer. We hope a blockbuster drug will have a lot of indications and bring benefits to a large number of patients. We will tap into the broad spectrum of the therapies to pursue the combo therapies. We want to maximize the advantages of these combo therapies. We leverages the efficacy and safety of our products and develop combo therapies with ADC. So marketing drugs is just the first step. We need to manage the entire life cycle of the products. So this is an overview of the first marketed product globally. And the second important element is the international development. And our major competitor in the world is AstraZeneca. And there is still a lot of a gap in market or drug development. So we still believe that we have the advantage to market the drugs to the world. And second, I want to talk about the PD-1 VEGF, the second product that we have launched. So here we'd like to share with you some of our insights about this drug. In 2019, that was a milestone year for the oncology drug. Genentech, the subsidiary of Roche Group, developed the first drug in this area, and it was marketed in United States. Back then, I was working in the Bay Area, and I was not an employee of Genentech when the Roche product was marketed, and actually it caused a great sensation. Everybody was very happy, was excited, and everybody was throwing party back then. Because it has very wide indications, it was helped to suppress the growth of those cancer cells. It was recommended as the basic drugs for the oncology. And the PD-1 was approved. PD-1 antibody was approved for marketing, and it helps to improve the immune system to suppress the growth of cancer cells. After 10 years of clinical application, it has become another basic drug for the oncology and has different mechanisms. It helps to, one is to focuses on the cancer cells, or the other focuses on stimulating the immune system of the people. And when we started our project, we didn't follow the principles of combining these two different therapies together. We are not simply bringing these two therapies together to develop a combo therapy. So when we started the project, the first question we asked was to what kind of problems or diseases we want to address. We help to address this issue, and in developing this drug, we want to rely on international partners. We used $500 million of upfront payment and a double-digit commission for sales to license this out to an international company. To choose a suitable partner is really very important. And at first, people thought that you gave it to a small company. Will you try to expand it? But this small company can really partner with us
By the end of last year, we started the recruitment of clinical trial phase 3, but we still can't communicate with the FDA in a very scientific manner. They can use all these already recruited patients in a phase 3 clinical trial, and these can help the phase 3 clinical trial in the U.S. With this contract and finished and executed this contract in January of this year, there are 2 major phase 3 clinical trials going on across the world, and these clinical trials, including trials for our own products. I talked about innovation. Is it really all about innovation of targets? There have been quite a lot of anxieties and discussions about that. If your products can beat the golden standards right now, it's definitely an original innovation. A lot of phase 3 clinical trials are now competing head-to-head to Keytruda. So I am very confident that this is a very innovative product, and our product in bevacizumab was launched, and our maybe 2024 we can expect the historical launch of this product, new products into the market. And let's go back to the biopharma industry in China, and bevacizumab was launched in the U.S. in 2004. Back then, Roche just came to Shanghai, to Zhangjiang. There was no similar target products that are on par with bevacizumab, even after 5 years down the road. And later, 5 years later, and NPC approved the first similar drugs to bevacizumab. And later, we gave a lot of support to these industrial development. And Chinese homegrown patented PD-1 started in 2018 with a continuous market launch. There have been a great reduction in the time needed for the development of innovative drugs. And you can also feel that in the past 10 to 20 years, be it regulatory system, be it supporting policies, many progress really have been achieved. I hope that next year, actually in August this year, we have already submitted the NDA application for the lung cancer indication, and we also have got the speedy approval tract. So I think this is not just a similar product, a copycat, or a very quick follow-up drugs, but rather a innovative drugs that is really homegrown innovation of China. I really look forward to that. I don't know how much time I have got left. I think I'm already over time, so I will just talk about one more example. We have been talking about innovations, and we have a product called CD47. This is a very complicated target, actually, and recently there have been a lot of industry news of failure. But we are still working on this product, exactly because of the factors that I just mentioned. We need stability. We need long-term stability, and this year we started phase 2 multi-center clinical trials for MDS. MDS is a disease that still haven't got very good treatment in the world. But what are we doing right now? How are we approaching this? From concept to product, a drug development needs scientific judgment, need your capabilities to take risks. We must understand the target. And in order to achieve the clinical results, what are the pathways? So we need science capabilities and professionalism, as well as execution, together with technology capabilities. Execution means development of drugs. Let's go back to CD47. An important issue is safety. It will combine with hemoglobin. This is just one case. In our science judgment, the science judgment will guide us in the drug development, and we have to avoid its combination with the certain cells, either with hemoglobins. So we have a mechanism to stop it from this combination, and we see our advantages over our competitors in efficacy and safety. So a lot of people are saying that we must stop CD47, but we are still continuing with that because we developed it based on science. It is not for MDS, but also for solid tumor, together with dual antibody products. This is a patient for cervical cancer. You can see the image before and after the treatment. The lesion disappeared 6 weeks after the treatment. In CD47, we have worked on several solid tumors with very good effectiveness. So I think that we have already started the international clinical trials for CD47. We need a technology platform. Our 6 dual antibody products are all in clinical development. AK132 is a Claudin 18.2 and CD47 dual antibody product. We set up these projects out of very careful consideration. We have CD47, and it combines with erythrocyte. When we design this product, we really have to reduce part of the efficacies of treatment. But even with the launch of APL7, maybe we can have a better product of APL2 with some protein engineering. We have a single chain CD47 and empower it with the function of killing the tumor, and together with the 84.2. When we do innovation, we have to start with the origin, the scientific thinkings behind the innovations. I hope that you can understand what I mean. And in the future, we are also working on ADC and bispecific ADC product innovation based on our current ADC and bispecific ADC platforms. We will strengthen this platform. On this slide, what I want to tell is that we should not follow others in developing ADCs. We're doing ADC not just because everybody is doing it, but rather you have to understand what problems we're trying to solve. This is the genesis of technology innovation, and which I think plays a significant role. Of course, we have first-mover advantages. We have novel biospecifics and ADC, which will enter into clinical trials next year. How are we going to complement these two and control the toxicologies and make sure that more patients would have access to our products and achieve the benefits? This is the value that we would like to create. In our company, since 2012, we have grown to a team of 3,000 people. We have more than 1,000 R&D team, 650 working in manufacturing, and 800 working in the commercial team. We started in Guangdong province, and in Shanghai and Beijing, we have set up R&D center. And with the support of the local government of Shanghai, we have settled down in the city with the launch of a global innovation center, which is really exciting news. And of course, we have many future plans in the pipeline. We are also trying to improve our manufacturing standards. There are 3 manufacturing bases, apart from the base in Zhoushan, in Guangzhou, and the Quedong New area. We are now gradually setting up our production capabilities gradually. We start with small and simple, and to grow it bigger and more complicated. So our center in Guangzhou with about 20,000 liters of capacities. But we also have got the 100,000 liters of capacity and the facility that is now have already been developed in Zhongshan. I think that this also shows the strong performance that we have achieved. That's all. Thank you.
好，谢谢。非常谢谢。
I would like to thank Madame Xia Yu for your wonderful presentation, and we can feel fully that China's biopharmaceutical companies really have a lot to say. After so many years of development, you have achieved great results, and hope you can keep up the good work. Ladies and gentlemen, let's start our panel 2 discussion.
当前，一个热带雨林般的世界级生物医药产业集群正在上海加快成型。创新链、产业链、资金链以及人才链、空间链前所未有的融合集群。接下来呢，我们将会为大家呈现的是一场高端对话，讨论的是产业集群发展与生态服务体系的建立。接下来我们要有请参与对话的各位嘉宾，请上清华大学药学院伍白教授、中国生物制药有限公司董事会主席
We're very happy to have Professor Bai, the School of Pharma Sciences of Tsinghua University, Mr. Xie Qirun, the chairwoman of the Board of Sino Pharmaceuticals, Mr. Xu Haoyu, chairman of Yangtze River Pharmaceutical Group, Mr. Song Kun, the general manager of Live AMC, and I also like to invite Madam Wu Chun, the managing partner of the BCG Greater China, to moderate this session. So as the last session, before we close this event, we will focus on the clustering of the industries. We will talk about the value chain, the innovation chain, talent chain, and the capital chain. So we will focus on the different elements of the value chain to develop a cluster. How can we develop a world-class cluster of the biomedicine industry? We have achieved a lot in the past 10 years, and you are the leading companies in your respective industries. So we would like to ask you to share with us your observations or experiences in developing the clusters, in fostering innovation. So first, let's start from Professor Lu from the Tsinghua University. I'm a professor of the School of Pharma Sciences of Tsinghua University. I used to work in the multinational corporations. I have also started my own companies, so I can address issues from different perspectives. Great achievements have been made in the China's biomedicine industries, and all people have recognized that. According to the classification of the BCG, the biomedicine industry has entered a period of 3.0 version. So we have shifted from developing copycat drugs to developing innovative drugs or leading the development of the biomedicine industry. So I would just like to share with you some of my experiences in this transition journey. If you want to be the leader of the industry, we need to have a source of innovation. Usually people believe that the original innovation usually takes place in universities and research institutes. It is true. I have been working in Tsinghua University for 10 years, and during the past decade, we have nurtured a number of the scientists who are very creative and very innovative. They have improved the capacity for doing research. When they reach a certain level, they will seek commercialization. I have been to Shanghai many times recently. I think another source of innovation comes from the clinical practices. For pharmaceutical industry, those clinicians are working closely with the patients. So these are two different paths for original innovation. If we let's first look at the universities and research institutes, and they have improved their capacity for original innovation, and they are quickly closing the gap with their international peers. And Shanghai is definitely a leading place for original innovation. We have several indicators, and we have an award for recognizing original innovation. We know we have a lot of top universities in Shanghai, and a lot of young scholars have received this award. This award is quite a unique one. They will value, or they will value the person's or recognize the person's value to the biomedicine industry instead of looking at the projects they run. And the number of the people who have received this award shows that Shanghai is really a leading place for original innovation. I think in the future we should focus on the commercialization. How can we commercialize the research results and make them marketable? Actually, it was quite challenging and difficult, but we need to focus on 4 areas. First is the protection of intellectual property. If it is a first-in-class drug, without the proper protection of the intellectual property, it cannot be marketed, or it cannot go to the global market. And we should also have very high-quality project management. If we have these innovative drugs, we need to have a very sound path to market the products to the market. Of course, we have some failure rate. So for those early investors, they should be quite tolerant for the failures and the mistakes. These are the 4 areas that the research institutes and universities should pay attention to. And if you look at the second path, which are mainly driven by the clinical people, I think Shanghai has a lot of advantages in these areas. Shanghai has a lot of top-tier universities, hospitals, and clinics. We have a number of few top-tier hospitals which have the best doctors, and they are both clinicians and scientists. They are engaged in the cohort studies and focus on the genesis of the diseases, and based on these studies, they will find the solutions or therapies for these diseases, and they will provide feedbacks for the industries. They will offer unique help to the industry. Here, I'll cite one example, clinical ready cohort. If you want to do a clinical trial, we need to make a lot of promotion efforts and recruit the patients or enroll the patients. If we have this trial-ready cohort, if we can use the computer or internet system to find the right patients, it can save a lot of time and money, and this will be a very strong boost to the industry. I think Shanghai has the unique advantages to do this.
好的，非常感谢。谈到这个产业临床转化、产业转化，哈，谢总这边作为就是整个中生集团还是做了很多全球布局。
I know.
这里边的创新哈也是在全球。
The China Pharmaceutical or Sina Pharmaceutical has also done or made a lot of efforts to go global. So can you share with us some of your insights? First, I'd like to give you an overview of our company. The 2 generations of our company have witnessed the rapid growth of the pharma industry. In the early 1990s, we mainly focused on OTC. We have this Zhengda, Qingzhenbao, and Sanjiu pharmaceutical companies. They were sold to the Shanghai Pharmaceuticals and the Huarun Group and another international company. And later on, our R&D mainly focused on these prescription drugs. We have Tianqin and Tide Pharmaceuticals. These are two leading pharmaceutical companies in China. And we launched the first Me Too product of Glevite, which was featured in a very famous film. And we also have another branded product which was used to treat the thyroid cancer. Back to the question of the moderator. So how can we really develop the innovative drugs? We have this very common model of licensing out. So we will find the global partners to license out our products, and they can be sold to other markets. United Imaging and other domestic companies are setting up their companies overseas, and they recruit local teams. And there is another model. So we are mainly focused on the merger and acquisitions. We are acquiring a lot of companies to make international expansion. Based on the strategy of the companies, we should make quick decisions to acquire other companies overseas. I think that given the macroeconomic background, this is a very appropriate approach. In the past 3 years, with the pandemic, we quickly established the R&D platform with more than 100 people. We have developed the first-in-class and the best-in-class pipeline. And potentially, we will have a revenue of over $3 billion. And I think these are the approaches for Chinese companies to make international expansion. So, looking ahead, we will focus on international expansion.
Thank you, Mr. Xu. You're in charge of Yangtze River Pharmaceutical Group. It's already a quite big-scale pharmaceutical group in China. And in panel 1, it was also discussed that for innovative companies, we really have transited from the period of numerous competitors to the true winners is going to emerge. But from R&D to manufacturing and to distribution, we really have to have strategic planning along the whole industrial chain. So what your company is doing in setting up your own industrial chain. Yes, just a few words about our company. For our company, we have a history of 52 years, and our growth also came side by side with the development of the pharmaceutical industry in China. We came to Shanghai more than 20 years ago. At the starting period, we worked with quite a lot of old pharmaceutical companies here in Shanghai. More than it was in 2000, more than 20 years ago, that we came to Shanghai when the pharmaceutical industry in Shanghai was not as booming as it is now today. Zhangjiang was still relatively small in its size. Over the past more than 10 years or around a decade, the biopharmaceutical industry's ecosystem here in Shanghai have undergone great changes. First of all, there are quite a lot of overseas returnees from foreign countries. And secondly, we can also see quite a lot of advanced operation philosophies from foreign countries. Just now, two panelists during the first round of discussion, they were all overseas returnees, bringing with them globalized methodologies of operations and management in the pharma companies. And based on the status quo of the pharma industry here in China, we always include TCM as part of of the biopharmaceuticals, and the generics, innovative drugs are also progressing in parallel. But I think most importantly is still about generics of chemical drugs to meet the healthcare needs of our people. But generics won't be able to generate very big and vast economic returns. That is why in Shanghai, as well as in the International Biopharma Industry Week Shanghai, we are all talking about innovation, industrial internationalization, as well as a bigger and greater business value. But what are the foundations for that? We need cooperation among different chains. We need talent, and we also need marketing, as well as internationalized management professionals. We also need large-scale capabilities of operation. So I think that Shanghai has got all these capabilities. We really have to screen out the best among the best to support the future development of this industry here in Shanghai. It is not to say that we are going to play in all the fields in some of the lower end and the middle end market segment, like generics is not suitable for Shanghai, and they should be developed in other localities of China. Shanghai should seek after truly innovation, even global first-in-class innovation, so as to maximize the geographic advantages of the city. Thank you, Mr. Xu. Innovative drugs would be the priority for the industrial cluster, but the input is also very high. We cannot avoid this problem of funding. And Mr. Xia talked about some statistics: 1.7 billion in primary market, 3.8 billion in secondary market, and we have got 200 to 500 million through BD and upfront investment. And all these are sources of funding. So would you please take the perspective of the financial sector and talk about your insights on this issue? Mr. Song from Fund AMC. Yes, indeed. For the last round of financing for Akiso, we actually had the intention to participate in their last round of financing, but their development really was beyond our expectation. We are here to talk about innovation. She mentioned 2 targets and 1 product, and the only competitor in the world is AstraZeneca. And there is another medical product which they are the global leader. These performances have been really beyond our expectation. We have been in the investment sector for quite a long period of time. We have got representatives from United Imaging and Beijing who are raw examples of innovation of China, and we can have unique cases of unique innovations in the global market. I've been an investor for several decades. About 10 years ago, back then, I worked in the mutual fund industry, and we have got the company that has the biggest market cap, about 30 billion. Now, the company was called Henrui. And I think that there have been quite a lot of progress in terms of market cap ever since then. But we can also see the existence of the gap here. And where does this gap come from? 10 years ago, when you look at the medicines, the drugs, as Mr. Xu just mentioned, it's all still mainly focusing on generics. It is always sales-driven, or we also rely on this model of organizations. There are few products with global competitiveness. I think these products are on the way, but they're not here yet. But if you look at the top 10 pharma companies in the world, they are leading the development of the era from small to big molecules to mRNA technology to gene editing and gene therapies. These are epoch-making drugs and products. So this is the quality of the competition. Second is quantity. Their presence is global. They have got audience across the world. But that's also exactly because of the high quality that they deliver. If you combine these two, the biggest market cap companies like J&J and Eli Lilly, their market cap will only be on the rise in the future. I'm very glad to hear Mr. Xia from Kangfang, as well as President Jing from Fudan University, who talked about phenotypes. Actually, we were not competing on a single target. If it is competition on a single target, you're just a laggard, you're just a follower. We have to revolutionize our mindset and do some concrete research work. It will be possible for China to lead its innovation, and most probably such leading innovation, more than 50% of the chances will take place in Shanghai. Thank you, Mr. Song. I think you have talked about expectations on innovations from the perspective of investors. We need quite a lot of investment in order to bring about any blockbuster products. But if you look at the global market, the top 10 is about 40 to 100 billion US dollars, and that excludes their input in R&D. But for China's pharmaceutical companies or the biopharma industries, their revenue is about 20 to 30 billion RMB. How are we going to allocate 10 billion to do global innovation? I think that all stakeholders of this cluster need to think about it. What is the pathway, and how are we going to fill this gap to fulfill our global vision and reach the destination? We really have a very limited time left, so would you please talk about your thinking on the future challenges, as well as to express your hope for the policymakers in China? 2 minutes for every panelist. So how are we going to reach the final destination? What are the policies that we should have? Let's start with Mr. Xie, please. You asked a very key question just now, because in my opinion, for world-class industrial cluster to be formed and developed, what is truly needed, I think, is that in this industrial cluster, you need world-class companies. If you look at the past 20 years, biopharma development in China, we started with a small market, and over the past 20 years, we now have become accounted for 25% of the global pharma market. We can support several world-class companies. Once you have got such companies, it will also link up the downstream and upstream, and there will be world-class companies emerging from both downstream and upstream. So if we have got about 20 billion size or worth of companies, we can support them to grow from 20 to 100 billion. If our company wants to become a top 30 company in the world, we need 100 billion of revenue according to our estimate. Several years ago, there are 10 American companies in the top 20, and Germany and Japan also have got 5 to 6 companies in the top 50. We have got several Chinese companies joining the ranks of top 40 and the top 50. Sinopharma, etc., are all in this rank. So I think that this is an issue that we really need to think about. There are two pathways. First of all, over the past 10 years, the biotech experienced a booming development here in China. The capital, the resources, and the talent cluster in China for innovation. We need a product worth 100 billion. in value. But really, Chinese homegrown big companies need to upgrade themselves to world class of 100 billion. They need to go global. They need to represent a MNC of pharma coming from China. Thank you.
Mr. Xu, as the leader of the industry, what's your take on this question? 100 billion product could not be a single product that only focus on oncology. It should have wide indications. It should, and the semaglutide, it has indications for both diabetes and loss control and weight control. However, if we are the company to sell those products, we cannot reach the 200 billion sales because it takes an entire system to sell the product. We should focus. We need the organizational structure and the sales force team, the power of the sales team to sell the product. These are the areas that the Chinese companies need to improve. Takeda, a Japanese manufacturer, ranked the 10th among the top pharmaceutical companies. It took them 60 years to join the top 10 pharmaceutical companies. They need to acquire other companies, and they need to have the integration within the company to reach this goal. Thank you very much. So we need to have this business models. We need to have a number of elements in place to support or to drive the growth of the pharmaceutical companies. We also like to hear the insights from the research or from the financial institutions. So if we have a 100 billion product, well, we can just imagine what kind of a product it will be. Probably it's an mRNA vaccine. It has only been in the market for 2 years. However, it can, or it's already generating about several hundred billion in revenue. Actually, Shanghai government has seized the opportunity, and they are introducing Moderna to China. So we have this shift from small molecular to mRNA and to gene therapies. Actually, we have already seen the opportunities, and we're working with the government to invest in these companies. We can just have an example from the electric vehicle sector. The EV sector in China probably ranks the second in the world. So what did we do? The Shanghai government introduced those leading companies to Shanghai, including Tesla. Tesla was allowed to have 100% subsidiary in Shanghai, and they are actively participating in the international competition. And it helped to develop the ecosystem, and in such ecosystem, we will have those competitive companies. Of course, we need also to have the talents. These executive leaders or business executives should have the long-term vision, and they should have right judgment of the trends. Because we know there are a lot of competitors in the EV sector. However, only a few have emerged to be very successful. So last but not least, Professor Liu, you are the advisor for policy making, and you are working closely with the source of innovation. So in the interest of time, I will address this question from a completely different perspective. We need to take one step back and to think out of the box. We should get one step back from the universities, research institutes, or the policy making of the government. First, we should look at this issue from a global perspective. We are in an era with unprecedented changes, and if you review the history, we know that the history evolves not in a linear pattern, but instead it follows a zigzag pattern. So at those critical junctures, some countries became extremely successful, while some countries were lagging behind. So I think we need to address the issue from a global or this macro perspective. And coming back to your question, our topic today is how to develop Shanghai into a biopharmaceutical hub. Let's imagine if Shanghai aspires to become a leading biomedicine hub, we should first look at the domestic situation. We don't have this bipartisan conflicts. We don't have the war or conflict like the Ukraine conflict. And we are actually in a stage of slowed economic growth. If we can seize the opportunities, we can achieve major breakthroughs despite all the major changes in the international landscape. So that's why you should not only be limited to the prospects of the business growth of the company. You should not only focus on the rankings of the universities. You should have this really broad vision and a global horizon. We should put Shanghai's development in a global context. Shanghai should grand vision and think in long-term perspective.
你这个企业是在全球开一个什么药物发布会的时候，必须要请你这样的一个企业。
So, if you can become one of the companies that will be definitely invited into a very influential academic conference or a global product launch ceremony, it means that you are really influential. If we have a large proportion of the executive in the business that are not Chinese, if Shanghai becomes a pilgrim or a preferred place for overseas students, then that means that we have really acquired a very strong international influence. And for example, Boston is a good case in point. Boston has a lot of university, a lot of people want to study there, and we should follow their example. We should make Shanghai a preferred place for the businesses and for individuals. Given the broad changes in the international landscape, China enjoys the unique advantage of having very stable politics and environment. And if we can address this issue from this broad perspective, then we can achieve long-term growth. So I will have a very quick wrap-up. I would like to thank all the representatives from the businesses, industries, and academia. The standards for innovation and the interaction of the capital, talent, and industry are the very important topics that we should focus on if Shanghai aspires to become a world-class hub for biomedicine industry. And once again, I would like to thank all the panelists. I would like to also thank Ms. Wu for chairing over this session. I hope that you have a lot of takeaways from this session. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests and leaders, we're coming to the end of the opening ceremony. In the following week, we are going to have nearly 40 events and activities within the International Biopharma Industry Week Shanghai 2023. Thank you for coming today. We will see you next year.
上海生物医药产业聚焦创新领域，
中心希望和产业同仁们携手，架设全球创新资源 共荣共生的桥梁，
凸显临床优势。
通过产业州的平台对接，更多临床资源得到激活利用，更好地守护人民生命健康。
发挥金融势能，
在生物医药产业这条赛道上，上海已经形成资本与产业高效互动的良好局面，持续引领和推动中国生物医药产业的高质量发展，
汇聚全球精英。
上海生物医药产业应着眼创新人才的发展，建设大发展的人才活力体系。
2023上海国际生物医药产业周，共济未来，生机盎然，敬请期待。上海生物医药产业聚焦创新领域，
中心希望和产业同仁们携手，架设全球创新资源共荣共生的桥梁，
凸显临床优势。
通过产业州的平台对接，更多临床资源得到激活利用，更好地守护人民生命健康。
发挥金融势能，
在生物医药产业这条赛道上，上海已经形成资本与产业高效互动的良好局面，持续引领和推动中国生物医药产业的高质量发展，
汇聚全球精英。
上海生物医药产业应着眼创新人才的发展，建设大发展的人才活力体系。
2023上海国际生物医药产业周，共济未来，生机盎然，敬请期待。上海生物医药产业聚焦创新领域，
中心希望和产业同仁们携手，架设全球创新资源共荣共生的桥梁，
凸显临床优势。
通过产业州的平台对接，更多临床资源得到激活利用，更好地守护人民生命健康。
发挥金融势能。